What's up, guys? Welcome to Hiking and Homesteading. So this is part 3 of our series on raising chickens. Okay, so part 1 we talked about purchasing. We said you can purchase them at store, hatchery, or seller. Basically, if you're brand new, probably want to buy them from a seller where they're a couple months old, so you don't have to deal with the difficult phase of raising. If hatchery is more for the chicken gurus, and if you're somebody that just buys a few birds every year and you're comfortable with raising those baby chicks, go to the store. Okay. Secondly, in brooder box, we talked about the lighting of it. We talked about you need to give them grit. You can find your own grit from Creek Pebbles, but they have to be tiny, tiny, tiny. Or you can buy grit from the store to make sure it's the right size and stuff. Bedding, pine bedding. Don't do cedar. It's toxic to them. Okay. Pine bedding only. I like the fine ground pine. Okay. Water. So I use apple cider vinegar that I add in my water, just a couple tablespoons. It really helps boost their immune system. And then food, you want 18 to 20% protein as baby chicks. So buy chick, grow, or feed. I like to steer on the side of organic and non-GMO. If you're on a budget, I understand that. Okay. Now, next thing we come to brings us into our third point, and that's hardening off. So when they're in the box, they need to be there 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. What I do is I start, when they start kind of getting a little older, 2, 3 weeks, I start cutting the light off, the heat lamp off for a few hours every day. Okay. And it just kind of gets them used to not having a heat lamp there for heat. It signals hormones in their body to start generating feathers, and maybe get more feathers and just kind of get ready for the big bad world. So, anyways, I do that. And then I start leaving the light off the whole day. Okay, so for a couple days, I'll leave it off for a few hours, and for a couple days, I'll leave it off all day long. Okay, so that way, the heat of the day in the summer, I usually do mine kind of fall, spring, summer. I don't really raise any in the winter. But anyways, they don't have light, so it again triggers hormones in their body. Says, hey, grow more feathers, so you can keep yourself warm. And then the last step is cutting it off at night too. So then you just cut the light off at all, but you still leave them in the breeder box. They can huddle up in that box and get warm in the corner of the box or something, but you got the light off. So you kind of phase that. It kind of depends. You got to kind of just follow the birds. It's not like a sure sign. You can't be like, okay, 2 days of this, 2 days of this, 2 days of this. You just kind of watch and see what the birds are doing and how they're acclimating, but you got to harden them off. Okay. So once you harden them off, that brings us to the third part, which is what this video is going to focus on. That's the chicken tractor. Okay, so once they can be for several days with no light, no heat source in the brooder box, okay, and that's what lots there is for heat source, then you're ready for the chicken tractor after several days, okay, because the ground's going to be a little wetter, it's not as insulated, it's colder, they don't have the bedding, so you really want to make sure they're ready for that chicken tractor or they'll die, okay. Chicken tractor, mine is for my egg layers, because I just do a few egg layers at a time, usually about 10. It's a 4x4, okay, by 2 foot tall. So 4 foot by 4 foot by 2 foot tall. And I just use 2x2s and screw them together. Super easy. I can do that in another video. And I lined it with hardware cloth. And on the top, I have what you call a tin, old roofing tin that was given to me. And it kind of shelters them from rain. And then I put little hooks. I put a piece of wood across the top with hooks on it. And I hang their water and their food. And I have little chains, and their water and food hover just a couple inches off the ground. So when I pull this tractor across fresh grass every day, their water and their food are kind of suspended, and they can eat and drink whatever they need. Okay. At this point, I would keep giving them a little bit of grit, but this is also a chance they can start kind of scratching the ground and getting grit for themselves to put in their call. That kind of helps them digest their food. Okay. So, anyways, again, the feed is up to you on that. But what I do with this is every day or every other day, I move them on the fresh grass. Okay. Just kind of go by how much manure is kind of falling in the grass. Depends on how big your mobile tractor is and how many chicks you have in there. But you can move them on the fresh grass, and this allows them to eat fresh grass, fresh bugs, and teaches them to be chickens. That's what chickens are there for. That's what they do. They're omnivorous birds that just prey on whatever is available. They're opportunistic feeders. At this point, you can also start giving them some food scraps. Okay. But anyways, that's what I do. The chicken tractor, they're going to be in there. Some people leave them in a chicken tractor indefinitely that they move every day, and that's great. If that's what situation works best for you, that's awesome. But I usually leave them in there for 3 to 4 weeks. And that brings us to our next point, which is going to be the next video, part 4, coop and pasture. Okay, so that's coming up. Thanks for tuning in to Hike and Homesteading. like, subscribe.